If you're working with generative AI, very likely you need Vectorstores. Now, there's a bunch of options, but today I'm going to show you three, which are ChromaDB, FAISS, and Pinecone. The first thing that we have here are these documents. It's a list of basically just strings, text, and this comes from a YouTube transcript, which is the transcript of this video. And the first vector store that we're going to use is ChromaDB. To use this, first of all, we need to import ChromaDB, which before importing it, you need to pip install it. And then we create a ChromaDB client from which we can create a collection. And a collection needs a name. And in this case, I named it YouTube transcript. Once you have this collection created, to add something to it, you just do collection.add and you specify the documents and the embeddings. In this case, I created the embeddings manually through the OpenAI embeddings that I imported from LangChain OpenAI. And then you can add metadatas and IDs. And this is actually pretty much it. If you want to add something else, you can just repeat this command and it will be added on top. If you have an existing collection, what you can do is you can get it this way. So basically client.get collection, and then again, it takes a name just as it did when creating it. Once you have a collection, you can have a peek inside it through collection.peek. This shows you some of your IDs. Then it shows you the embeddings. It usually shows you the first 10 if I'm not mistaken. And these are the keys that this function has. So you can see the IDs, the embeddings, the metadatas, documents, URIs, and data. And you can also query it. So in this case, I ran a query. It takes query embeddings as a keyword. And you need to embed the text that you're trying to go for. And here I ran this query where I searched for documents that are similar to Stanford University, and it came out with these documents. And as you can see, Stanford University is the first word here, and basically it retrieves all of the embeddings that are similar to the ones that you've put inside your query embeddings. So this was ChromaDB. Let's move on to FAISS. To use FAISS, you import it from LangChain community vector stores. And all it takes at this point is just FAISS from texts. And this actually can be different. It depends on what kind of data you have. For example, you can have from documents and from embeddings too. But in this case, as our docs are just plain text, we're going to use from text. Okay. And then it takes obviously the documents and the embeddings that we're going to use. So this is just our OpenAI embeddings instance. Here it is. So this is how we create a FAISS vector store. And again, we can search for similarity. In this case, we need to specify the kind of search that we're trying to perform. And again, by searching Stanford University, I got these documents that, as you can see, contain words that are similar or exactly the same. If you want to save your FAISS vector store, you just save it locally this way with save local, and then you specify the name. And if you want to load it, you just go load local, you give it the name, you have to give the embeddings, and you also need to allow dangerous deserialization because otherwise it cannot open the pickle file. Now, the last one is Pinecone. So for this, again, you need to pip install LangChain Pinecone, and then you go on to Pinecone, and I'm just going to delete this index for a second because we're going to recreate it. So YouTube demo it was named. Okay, so now I don't have any indexes, and I can create a new one. So here we go, create an index. And then it takes a name. So I'm just going to name it YouTube demo. And then it asks you for dimensions. And this depends on the kind of model that you're using. But we have this tool right here that helps us. So in this case, we're going to use GPT-3. And this is the dimension of it. So 1536. Great. So now we just create the index and that's it. Here you have your API keys and you need to put them inside the environment variables. But at this point, all that you need to do is just import the Vectorstore, and then you just create it from texts. Once again, you can have from documents here as well. But again, we have text, so we're going to use that. And then you need to specify the document. You need to specify the index name, which is actually now it's YT demo, as you can see here, and the embeddings. So let's run this. And it creates them in a second. Okay, perfect. And now, again, you can perform a search on this. Again, Stanford University search similarity, and it just gave us the 4 results that it gave earlier. And that is because the kind of function that it's running behind and that is calculating all of this is the same. And if you have an existing index, you just import it this way. So Pinecone Vectorstore from existing index. It takes an index name and the embeddings that you used, and you can just load it from there. Pinecone is personally my favorite. It's what I use. But, you know, the other 2 options are pretty good as well. So hopefully this was useful. See ya.